Hormones control just about everything in your body. Your energy, sleep, mood, metabolism, muscle growth, libido, and even brain function. Most doctors aren't trained to look at hormones the way they should.
Even when hormones are tested, they're really not tested appropriately. These are things we did not learn in school. It's just not taught. It's skipped through very quickly.
They're not settling for, oh, your labs look fine. Well, then why do I feel like crap? That's not good enough for us. That's not good enough as providers. We need to be figuring out why. Welcome to Look Good, Feel Good with Matt and Amy McKinley, the podcast where we bring you expert advice and honest, real talk on health, wellness, and feeling your absolute best. From hormone optimization to aesthetics and everything in between, we're here to help you live your best life. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to the Look Good, Feel Good podcast with Matt and Amy. Today we're going to hit a topic that is very important and something close to our hearts and hopefully yours. But we're going to talk about hormones and what your doctor has not told you about hormones and why they're important.
It's one of those things that, if you've ever felt fatigued and had unexplained weight loss or struggled with like low libido or just kind of felt off, chances are your hormones might be playing a bigger role than you think. But here's the kicker. Most doctors aren't trained to look at hormones the way they should.
Yeah, let's talk about what happens in training. So when we're in PA school, medical school, nurse practitioner school, I think we may have spent, maybe 2 hours on hormones. So we really don't get a very good understanding of it in training. And unless we really want to know what it's all about, we have to deep dive ourselves to learn what we want to learn.
It's kind of funny when I look back, like thyroid. We didn't learn very much about thyroid. It's kind of what Matt was saying. Many doctors, they focus on treating symptoms rather than looking at the root cause. For example, if someone comes in with fatigue and weight gain or depression, they're often prescribed medications for each individual symptom. Rarely is anyone asked, could this be a hormonal issue?
Yeah, so even when hormones are tested, they're really not tested appropriately. A lot of the testing is done on a minimal basis. And for example, you might hear, oh, your labs look normal. Well, the question we get all the time is, if my labs look normal, why do I feel terrible? So we have to really deep dive into what normal is, and what is normal for her is not normal for someone else. Same thing with me. So we really need to understand what normal is for each person or what optimal is for each person.
So let's talk about why hormones are so critical to feeling your best. Hormones control just about everything in your body. Your energy, sleep, mood, metabolism, muscle growth, libido, and even brain function. And if your hormones are out of balance, you're going to feel it.
Very true. A lot of times with men, for example, when you hear testosterone, you may think, well, it's muscle building and libido. Well, that's kind of the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more that goes into it. Energy, stamina, mental clarity is a huge thing. Also motivation. As men get older, what I've seen, and even with myself, we lose motivation to do things we used to love. Like when I was a young man, I would go fly fish in a snowstorm. As I got older, I'm like, I just don't have that motivation. A lot of times having those hormones balanced make a tremendous difference in our motivation and just our quality of life.
Yeah, I agree. So when hormones are optimized, people often report feeling like themselves again. And it's not magic. It's giving your body what it needs to function at its best. So our personal experience with hormones, have been this.
Yeah, so about 3 years ago, we mentioned this on the first podcast. We kind of ran into this colleague in Wisconsin that taught us a lot more about hormones. And my personal experience was she sat me down and said, hey, let's draw your blood and get a lab panel and look at it. Well, I knew I felt like crap. I was inflamed all the time. My motivation wasn't where I wanted it to be. I couldn't get in good shape no matter how hard I tried going to the gym. I was 40 pounds overweight. So we did this initial lab panel that looked at a lot of things, not just hormones per se or sex hormones like testosterone, estradiol, DHEA, but we also looked at our heart health. We looked at thyroid. So we got a full picture. We looked at vitamin D, B12 to get a full picture of what may be the cause or the root of what's going on. because we don't want to just treat symptoms. We want to treat the root of the problem. So not only do you feel better today, but moving forward, you know what's going on. So with my journey, it took a few months to really get things dialed in. But after we got me on a program, oh my gosh, it changed my life. That's why we're here today. That's why I'm here today. But it really changed my life to where I feel good. My confidence went up. I was able to be more assertive. Libido was outstanding. And even in the gym, made a huge difference. So there were a lot of things. It's not that you pinpoint one thing, it's putting the whole picture together to get to that wellness that you want to achieve.
Even with my journey, I was tired all the time. I felt sluggish. I couldn't lose weight no matter what I did. And it's kind of interesting. I mean, I could kind of hide my weight a little bit just because I'm tall and, but I was not feeling great. I was, about 165, 170. And it was like when I was in my pregnancy weight and I couldn't lose it. And I think there was a real eye-opening experience when I went to the doctor, weighed, and then 6 years later, I went to the doctor again, the exact same weight. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't lose any weight in between there, even though I had done all these diets and try to lower my carbohydrates and all these things. But, once I had started on hormone optimization, it was like a light switch flipped and I had more energy. My mood improved. I started feeling like myself again. I started getting muscles where I've never had muscles before. And it is one of those things where working out in the gym, it's like, sometimes you never see results, but gosh, I've started to see results where I start to curl weights where it was 5 pounds on each side. Now I can do 10 pounds on each side. And so it just feels good. There's a lot of common misconceptions about hormones out there.
Yeah. And I'll back that up. Amy her progress was phenomenal. Just the difference it made in her quality of life too. When I saw her just feeling great in the gym, because we always went to the gym. We worked out, but we were frustrated because nothing changed. And we talked to people around us, same thing. It's like you try so hard, but you're not getting the results that you want. So that's where this can make a big difference. But one of the biggest misconceptions is, when do we need to start looking at our hormones? Well, with men in their late 20s and 30s, that's when our testosterone levels start to decline. So a lot of people think, it's, 40s, 50s. It actually is starting a lot younger. And lab tests really show that, because I'm seeing young men now, even in their 20s, with very low testosterone levels. And I don't know if, I think a lot of it is environmental. Even some people close to us that were not couch potatoes have low levels at younger ages. So it's really frustrating. But one of the things that we need to understand is what is a normal level and what's optimal. I'll give for testosterone, for example, a lab test might show a normal level being between, say, 280 and 1100. Well, that is a massive broad range. And I'll tell you this, if you're in that lower end of normal or even mid to lower end of normal, almost all men really feel like crap. They lose energy, they lose motivation, they don't sleep well, they get frustrated. It's just about the quality of life. So it's really understanding what's optimal versus what's normal.
I think another myth in hormone therapy is it's dangerous. And I think, when done correctly and understanding the different hormones, these are bioidentical hormones. So when we're optimizing them, it's incredibly safe and very beneficial. And the key is working with someone who truly understands the science behind it. We've gone to the classes, it's all science backed. So, it's one of those things where I feel like I just kind of related to, I want hormones kind of like when I was younger, or even better, or optimize them to where I feel good. So I don't really look at lab values. I do, but I don't. I just do it how I feel, where I feel good. And that's kind of what I do for my patients. I say, we're going to optimize you where you feel good. And that's kind of where we'll keep you. Your other physicians and providers won't understand that. They'll think it's like, oh, it's too high, but you feel good there. And there's nothing dangerous behind it if you understand the science.
Yeah, one of my biggest fears when I started this and what I researched extensively was things that could be potentially dangerous. And it scared me. So I was not willing to do this until I knew for sure what was safe. So, for example, you may hear higher testosterone levels cause blood clots or heart attacks or strokes. Well, it does not if you're supplementing with hormone optimization. That's been proven in multiple studies. Now, if someone is sick, for example, if they have hypoxia or really bad sleep apnea and those levels are high, that's a different story.
We're talking about the hematocrit and hemoglobin.
Yeah,
when it goes up, when hematocrit and hemoglobin goes up on baseline, there's a reason why it is. But if someone's supplementing with testosterone, your hematocrit and hemoglobin go up, I used to think, oh no, my blood's getting thicker. I've got to go give blood. I got to go donate blood. But we know that's not true. It's because we're giving testosterone. It's not a bad thing. It does not make your blood thicker. People that live at high elevations have high H&Hs. People that train in Colorado Springs, athletes, have high H&Hs. That's why they go there, so they can improve their oxygen input, and it doesn't make them more at risk. So knowing this information, it's a misinformation that we thought, but now we know the truth. And so I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and again, it kind of goes back to where we started. These are things we did not learn in school. It's just not taught. It's skipped through very quickly. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be, because we need to feel good as we age. We don't have to settle for feeling subpar. It's just not the way we should live our lives.
Yeah.
We're about look good, feel good, and live your happiest, healthy, most abundant life.
Yeah, and feeling good isn't just a luxury. It's a necessity. Optimizing your hormones can transform not just how you feel physically, but also emotionally and mentally. It's about thriving, not just surviving.
Yeah. And if you're feeling not your best, let's just put it that way. If you don't feel your best, if you feel like your life could improve, take a look into yourself and say, what should you be doing? What should you be looking at? What should you test? These things, although we want to optimize everything is backed by science. Everything is backed by studies. These are things that Amy and I did a fellowship course in bioidentical hormone replacement that's given us this advanced knowledge.
No, and I think you need to advocate for yourself. I think patients are becoming more wise too, because they listen to podcasts. They listen to some of these things that are going on there. They're understanding it more than the physicians or the providers do. And I think they're becoming wise. So they're learning and they understand it more than their providers do, because they just didn't learn it. So I think they're becoming very savvy. And I think people are wanting to feel better. They're not settling for, oh, your labs look fine. Well, then why do I feel like crap? That's not good enough for us. That's not good enough as providers. We need to be figuring out why and diving deep. And so I think that's kind of, remember, it's not about chasing what's normal. It's about optimizing your health. It's, to live your best life. That's kind of what we've done here. We're excited to help people live that, because that's kind of what we're doing for us.
Yeah, our goal is to help as many people as we can to live their best life. I think a good question to ask yourself is, what does your best life look like? And when I say that, you have to pause and really think about it. What does your best life look like, or what would you like it to look like? So if you're wondering about how you can get there, we'd love to help you along the way. We really appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And we're going to bring more and more good, concrete information, hopefully that will help you understand everything better, because it's not just about hearing someone say something. It's about fully understanding it. And that's where your knowledge and growth comes in.
I agree. It's one of those things where if you feel like there's something missing in your health journey, we hope these episodes inspire you to kind of find it. Thank you.
Thanks again.